What's up, baddies? Welcome back to Baddie Galore, Father Cheat. On today's episode, we're going to talk about how a baddie only does what makes sense. And that is basically the tagline for this channel and the podcast, that a baddie only does what makes sense, right? Because you have to understand, in life, you're going to be confronted with so many different things. People got their own issues, people got their own perspective, people got this. But I always tell people, just do what makes sense, especially what makes sense for you, your health, your goals, right? Because someone else might have another image in their head of how things should be, and it might not just align with what you know to be for yourself. And I always say, like, leave people alone. Like, everybody has their own vision of how they want their life to be. We don't always got to do the same thing. And doing what makes sense means doing what makes sense for you, doing what makes sense for what you know is where you're supposed to go, doing what makes sense for your career, your lifestyle, your family, right? What makes sense to me might not make sense to someone else because they're not in my world, right? A lot of people look outside, right? And then they start making their own projections. They start making their own assumptions of how it should look, how it should be, but they're not in that specific world, right? Like, for example, let's say someone doesn't crochet, they're not in the world of crocheting, right? They might look at someone's piece and be like, it's not supposed to look like that. It's supposed to be gray. It's supposed to be like this. I've seen better. Da 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 da. But it's like, you're not in the world of crocheting. Like, that person could just be casually trying to practice because they're about to go for competition, or that was just a trial before the actual real thing. You know what I'm saying? Or they're just testing out different colors. But someone in that crochet world would be like, no, what that person did make sense. It makes sense because of what that world is doing. You can't just wake up one morning, go on Google, find the best of the best crocheting, and then start comparing someone in that world when you're not in that world. You're not a crocheter. You don't know. So a baddie only does make sense because people will come for you. People that is not in your world, in your fields, kind of knows the lane you're going. They're gonna try to add their two senses, and their two senses does not make sense because it has nothing to do with what needs to get done to get things done. And you're gonna have to sometimes make those sacrifices and sometimes make those hard calls. Like, I see where you're coming from. And I know you probably got some control issues, but I am so sorry. You're going to come for me in so many ways, but I am so sorry. It don't make sense. And people with control issues, they going to come for you. They going to come for everything because in their head, it makes sense. Like, it makes sense. And in their head, that's just how everything is set up. And it's just like, mamas or papas, I'm so sorry. Like, I know it because I've been in this field for so many years. What you're doing and what you're seeing, it just does not make sense. So I cannot do what you're saying. I cannot follow what you're doing, right? I understand your worlds and I understand how you might be seeing things. And I understand that you have your own perspective, but you also have to understand my own perspective. And you also have to respect that I also have years in this game and I also have my way about going about things, right? It don't matter how old you are. Like, people like to use age. People like to use even race to be like, and it's like, it is what it is. If it don't make sense, it don't make sense. And a baddie is only gonna do what makes sense, right? And you have to be okay with people judging you. You have to be okay with people yapping their mouths because your world is your world. You know, like, I don't, right? Like, I wouldn't know how to help you. Like, I wouldn't, like, I've dealt with situations like that where their world was so different than my world that it's like, I really don't even know how to help you. because it's like it's just so outward from what I am going and the direction I am going and my lifestyle and my health and my cultural background. It's just so different than the direction I'm going. So I would not be able to help you. You feel me? And that's just it. Right. So I am giving you the agency. I am trying to inspire you to be a baddie and just stand on what makes sense. If you gotta ditch the party to stay home and really, really like read your book so you can be prepared for tomorrow's meeting, or, really, really excel in academic sense or excel in corporate America because you're just in a different lane than the people that are trying to bring you out to the party, then you got to do what makes sense. Sometimes you got to make that sacrifice. It's like, I know you're going to, like, oh, why isn't she here? Why isn't she at this party? Why isn't she drinking with us? But it's just like, I'm in a different world. And in my world, I have to be careful with some of these things. In my world, I really, really got to study. I really, really got to take some time to understand what's happening. Like, it just makes sense to me. It might not make sense to you because it's like, why not have some fun? You're young, but it makes sense to me, right? Because where I'm going, even to have the energy to create these YouTube videos, like I have to just kind of stay to myself a little more until I really, really understand what's happening in the world that I'm in, right? So I really hope that helps. And I'll catch you guys later and on the podcast. Bye.